Once upon a time, in a land far beyond the mountains, there was a beautiful forest known as the Enchanted Forest. The trees there were tall and graceful, their leaves shimmering with hues of gold and silver as they whispered ancient secrets to one another. It was said that this forest was home to magical creatures, fairies, talking animals, and wise old spirits who had watched over the land for centuries. In the heart of the Enchanted Forest flowed the Moonlit River, named for the way it glowed softly in the night. The water sparkled like the stars themselves, lighting the path for those brave enough to venture through the forest after sunset. One evening, a curious young girl named Lily wandered into the forest. Lily was a kind soul with a heart full of wonder and a love for adventure. She had heard tales of the Enchanted Forest from her grandmother and longed to see it for herself. Clutching a small lantern, she followed the soft glow of the moonlit river deeper into the woods. As she walked, she suddenly heard a soft giggle. Turning around, she saw tiny sparkling lights dancing through the trees. Fairies. They fluttered around her, their wings shimmering like rainbows in the dark. "Hello, little fairies," Lily whispered, her eyes wide with amazement. "What are you laughing about?" One of the fairies, who had bright golden wings, flew close to her and replied in a voice as light as the wind, "We laugh because tonight is a special night. The Moon Queen will visit the river, and we are preparing a grand celebration." Lily's heart filled with excitement. "The Moon Queen? Who is she?" "She is the guardian of the Moonlit River," said the fairy. "She only comes out when the moon is full, to bless the forest and ensure the river continues to glow." The fairies invited Lily to join their preparations. They decorated the forest with delicate strands of flowers and hung tiny lanterns, made from fireflies along the riverbank. As the night deepened, the full moon began to rise, casting a silver light over everything. Suddenly, the river's glow became even brighter, and the fairies flew into the air in excitement. From the far end of the river, a shimmering figure appeared. It was the Moon Queen, her gown made of stardust and her hair flowing like silver waves. She moved gracefully, her feet barely touching the ground as she glided towards the fairies. Lily could hardly believe her eyes. The Moon Queen was the most beautiful being she had ever seen. The Queen smiled warmly at Lily. "A human child? How brave you are to venture into the Enchanted Forest." "I wanted to see the magic for myself," Lily said softly. The Moon Queen knelt down, her eyes kind. "Then you shall witness something very special. Tonight, we will send a wish into the sky. Whatever you wish for, the stars will hear and help it come true." The fairies gathered around as the Moon Queen waved her hand over the river, causing a swirl of silver mist to rise from the water. The mist sparkled as it floated upwards, forming a trail of stars that glimmered against the night sky. Lily closed her eyes and made a wish, her heart filled with hope. She didn't speak her wish aloud, but deep inside, she longed for her village to always be filled with joy and peace. When she opened her eyes, the mist had disappeared, but the stars above twinkled more brightly than ever. The Moon Queen smiled. "Your wish is a noble one, dear child. It shall be granted." As the Queen turned to leave, she touched Lily's lantern, and it began to glow with a soft, golden light, just like the moonlit river. "This light will guide you home," the Queen said. "And remember, the magic of the Enchanted Forest will always be with you, wherever you go." Lily thanked the Moon Queen and the fairies, her heart filled with wonder. She began her journey back, the glowing lantern lighting her way through the forest. The trees seemed to hum with happiness as she passed, and even the river's gentle song seemed to carry a message of peace. When Lily finally returned to her village, She felt as though she carried a piece of the forest's magic within her. And from that night on, whenever she felt uncertain or afraid, she only had to look up at the stars, and they would twinkle back at her, reminding her of the moonlit river, the fairies, and the kind queen who had. And so, the village remained a place of joy and peace, just as Lily had wished, under the watchful gaze of the stars and the glow of the moonlit river.